I sprung that on him right as we walked in the door, so I appreciate you jumping in there. But our families do get together often, and we really enjoy our time with the Boströms. It's a lot of fun. This is my crew, yeah. And this is actually from a couple years ago. So this is my lovely bride with Hayden, my youngest. This is a more up-to-date photo of the kiddos. And this kid right here is going to kill me. I'm certain of it at some point. And the story yesterday on Hayden, is his name, was we have about 150-foot zip line in our backyard, and he's really not allowed on the zip line. He just decided to take it upon himself and ride it down, holding it like this the whole way yesterday. Yeah. So he's gonna put me into an early grave. So I've got this pet peeve of kind of that's been going on in my head for a little while, and it kind of came to a head a couple weeks ago. We got a call from an agent who said, I've got a lady and she hired a handyman to come and try and do some repairs on a deck in her backyard because she had a bridal shower coming up from her daughter, okay? You see where this is going? What I want to talk about today is some details about decks and why it affects sometimes what we do in the insurance restoration piece. These are some details about decks. The Georgia prescriptive deck detail is a 30-page little piece of the building code right here that tells us how to build a deck. And it was adopted by Georgia in 2014. It was part of the International Building Code in 2012. People are still building decks according to the code before this, okay? Believe it or not, they still are out there doing that. Why it is important, and this is where I was gonna go. This is that pamphlet I just held up. This is Miss Place's deck, okay? It fell with the two handymen on it, and they are now going after her for their insurance, for their medical bills. Even though she showed them from what another guy had showed her earlier about the problems that this deck had, and they were assuring her that they were going to fix it for $1,500 and some nebulous invoice that was, I'm not sure exactly what for. Some of the problems with her deck, this is pretty standard construction if your home was built 20 years ago. Okay, so if you have a deck like this, you really need a professional to come out and take a look at it. And this becomes an insurance claim, all right? So it came to us through an insurance agent. She's filed a claim, and I'm gonna kind of go over some of the issues here with the deck. This is the ledger board on the outside of the deck. This is what was holding the deck up, okay? These handy dandy little nails here, okay? There's just a myriad of problems with the way this is built, okay, guys? And the problem is this is very pervasive throughout the industry. We see a lot of decks that have either fallen or are in the process of falling or are going to fall, and it's staggering, okay? And one of the other problems with this deck is it was actually sunk into the concrete, and wood does not do real well inside concrete. It does suck up the moisture from that. Even with pressure treated wood, it's going to cause a problem down the road. This is a violation of the code nowadays. This is the ledger board up against the house where the deck pulled away. It was just nailed to the ledger board, and there was no joist hangers, nothing other than nails to holding this thing up. So it's really staggering. One of the other things you'll see here is that this ledger board's actually begun to pull away from the house itself. And the reason I want to bring up a couple of those points is that this is and I've redacted all the information off here that needs to be redacted. This is the insurance adjuster's quote. And I'm going to ask, I don't know how many of y'all are professional deck builders, but could you rebuild that deck for $2,745? Yeah. I don't know if you can get the material for $2,745 that needs to be gotten for this. And I really don't think this was a malicious attempt by the adjuster. He's simply using the software as he's been taught, and he's got 5 line items. Literally, this is the entire estimate, guys. He's got 5 line items here and a total, and says, yeah, I think that's good enough. Okay, this isn't even close, all right? This detail goes into a lot on the construction of the deck. So if we go back to some of these pictures prior, the way he estimated it was the way it was built before, not how it needs to be upgraded according to code now, okay? So that's something we have to come alongside that adjuster, take his hand, and actually go through the process of training him or educating him on why this deck needs to be brought up to code. Some very simple things that need to be done properly are just adding joist hangers, just adding the metal structure that makes this thing sound and makes it work right. It's just not included in this estimate. So it's our job to make sure that this estimate comes up to where it needs to be so that we can make sure that we have the funds to rebuild the deck properly. By the time we're done estimating this just came to us last week, so we don't have an estimate out on this. We did ask the insurance company to send an engineer out so we could get everything properly recorded, and then we'll create an estimate. It's probably going to be $10,000 to $12,000 by the time we're done. It's not an attempt to rip off the insurance company. It's not an attempt to try and make more money. It's just an attempt to make sure that we can take something that's gotten broken, like this deck, and put it back properly. When we put something back like this, we're going to use, this is a triple ledger on the outside. We're going to come back at the end of construction here. We're going to add joist hangers to all these joists. Okay, we're going to use all the proper fasteners for the railings. You see these fasteners that go all the way through the ledger boards. We're going to use the proper techniques according to the code now, so that the deck stays in the air where it's supposed to be. And this one in particular, we ended up actually doing some steel reinforcements because it was cantilevered out a little farther than we were comfortable with. So we can take your space and make it an incredible thing, but we need to make sure that the insurance company is on board with what we're going to do, and that we can take the time to do details like this and do them right, and that the money's there to do that, because we want to put it back properly and we want it to be safe, and we do want to take care of you. So if you know somebody who's having a problem with their deck or any other insurance claim, we can fix this.com. Thanks, guys.